All right. We're live. We're live here on YouTube. This is Let's Talk. This is George Zayas, along with my friend here, Julio, the Latin from Manhattan. It's been a long time since I've been on here. We're doing like a little show, just to check it out, see how this thing's work, because we haven't done this in a while. So this is a whole brand new show, just testing things out with Julio. Julio, the Latin from Manhattan. Welcome to Let's Talk. How are you, man?
Hey man, what's going on, George? Thank you for a good job that we did a couple of weeks ago, and I appreciate you for letting me be on. Julio, the Latin from Manhattan, in the house right now, along with George, and
Oh, look at that. You're
hope
getting an
that
applause.
for the three people watching, thank you, I appreciate it.
The three people watching. I don't think we even have one person watching yet, but
That's
hey
okay.
man, I'm excited that you're here. It's been a long time that I've done one of these, and we're just going off the cuff today. There's no notes, so nothing. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about March 23rd. We did a live stream on Ticket Life. That's lyfe.com. You can see the show right there. We're gonna give you a little clip in just a second. But Julio, tell us how did you get into comedy? Because when I met you via another person, another comedian, and
hmm
we were doing a show. Just tell us a little bit about how is it that you got into comedy?
Um, I got into comedy. It was probably right after I saw Delirious. Um,
Okay.
when I saw Delirious,
And
I
that's the
said,
Eddie Murphy. You're talking about Eddie,
with Eddie
Eddie
Murphy,
Murphy.
yeah,
Okay.
I said I could do that. That I
Okay.
could do, and I
So
want
you're
to do.
going like that's like 30 something years, like 35 years ago, no?
Uh, I think it was 1986. He did that show.
Yeah, man. So
So
it's a
yeah,
pretty
so
long time
it was
ago.
around that. It was 30 something, 37, 38 years, something like that.
Wow. Okay.
And I decided I'm going to do a show.
Okay.
So I started telling people I was already lying, and I'm going to do a show at is First on First. It's called First on First,
Okay.
and First on First is a little bar, but I never even went to First on First. They don't know who I am. I don't know anything. I don't know nothing. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna be on First. And they're like, yeah, that's on First Avenue, First Street. Right? Like, oh yeah, let me know when you're gonna go on the whole bit. And then I never went to First on First. I was kind of scared to go over there. So my friend was a singer. His name was Tim Shepard, and he was singing in this place called the Jazz Cultural Theater. So the head, the band leader, his name was Dave Hubbard. He was a saxophonist, an alto sax. And I asked him, look, I would like to do a show here with you. It's okay if I open for you. And
Hmm.
the way he talked, very cool. Like, well, that's really cool. And I could see you do some comedy now. And I know that you have it in you. And that's the way that guy talked. He talked
He
very
sounds a
low.
little like Miles Davis, bro.
Yeah, yeah, that's the way he talked like that. And they all talk that way. All of them, they all talk that way.
Right, right.
Except Tim. Tim didn't talk that way, but Tim was funny. Um, he um, he says, so where would you like to do this? I said, well, I figured in a couple of weeks we could do it here Saturday night. I'll print up my own tickets. I'll sell tickets.
Right.
He goes, oh, really? I said, yeah, yeah. And I'll give you half the tickets. He says, what are you going to sell your tickets for? I said, $8. Is that good? He goes, oh, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So I sold about 75 tickets.
Wow. You got 75 people to come to you opening up as the comedy show, and then he's doing the music afterwards?
No, he's doing. I'm opening, so he's gonna do the music, right? Now these people ain't jazz people, like
Right. They just they
they just
just
want
want
to
to see
see me.
comedy.
They want to see me, right? So I went there, and the only person laughing was the drummer. He
Okay.
loved it. He thought it was like, this guy is hysterical. So I was like off the. I had no line. I had no story. I was jumping back and forth. I was up there for 20 minutes ranting a fool, and my friends were like, and like they at the end of the show, my friend Win Lee, he says, Julio, I know we came out to see you and everything, but you really sucked. And I started laughing, and I'm like, yeah, okay. But I'm having a show tomorrow. You want to come to that one too?
Okay.
And from that day, I figured if it's gonna scare me enough from that day, because I know I did really, really bad.
Hmm.
But if I want to do it again, then this is something I want to do. Now, at 33 years old, you're not thinking about that. You're
Right.
thinking, you're 33. I already have a job. As a matter of fact, I had two jobs.
Right.
I was working. You had the kids. How do you juggle this between being married, having kids, and doing everything in between?
Mhm.
My daughter wasn't born yet. She was born. Matter of fact, my daughter will be 37. So it'd be about 37 years because she was born the next month.
Wow.
So I did it in May. She was born in June. So it was one of those things. And then everything else is history. After that, I learned how to fail really fast.
Okay.
Going on open mics, doing the freebies, going in and like and still using what I know. Like for instance, I did I mean I did horrible for the first couple of weeks because I was still scared.
Yeah, of course. You got a little stage fright. You're not sure what
Yeah,
to talk about.
yeah, like is it gonna come out right? Am I dressed right? The whole bit.
Right.
And what happened was I got a little comfortable, and I started. These open mics, they don't bring people. I
Right.
was bringing 10, 15, 20 people a show. They were like, and they're paying. This is not like free. So they were like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. Hey, you bring a lot of people, man. I'll bring strangers, people from the street. Hey, you want to see a comedy show? I'm gonna be here. They come, they see my sucky ass, performing and the whole bit. And we used to go to a place called the China Chalet downtown Manhattan. So I,
Okay.
started bringing people around there, Wall Street. And then
But how
they
did you
had a
get it? How did you
show.
get into those other clubs? Was it with the same friend, that the musician friend?
No, no, no. That was a two-time thing. That's it. Like I did a couple of more shows there, but it wasn't as good because the people already saw me. They know I suck, so they ain't gonna come see me. Right? So you're conscious, and the thing about when you learn how to do this game and you bomb, because
Mhm.
you expect to bomb. People don't know how much it bothers you. I mean,
Mm.
you be bothered for a month. You believe that? A month. And you're still aching about how you bombed that night.
But is it because, like, how, did you have like a vision on how it was going to go prior to you getting on the stage? Is that why? Is that you kind of let yourself down? Is that what it was?
I didn't know. I had no idea. There was no, remember, there's no coaching, there's no
Right.
school.
Right. Right. Right.
You're on your own. You only know what you see on TV. So I figured,
Right. Right.
here's Eddie Murphy, he's on TV. I could do that. Because they make it look so easy. Professionals are really good at that.
Yeah.
Watching
That's.
Richard Pryor,
Yep.
watching George Carlin. These cats make it look easy. So, going up on stage and not having any type of judgment about yourself because you always want to do well.
Right.
And I got a little better. I mean I did. It took me maybe a year, and I really got on my feet and was really really moving. and
Okay.
and my daughter was one, so I was still trying to get booked, but nobody was booking me. I mean, I was new, so I decided I'll produce my own show. So I went to I started doing shows like on my own. I go to you let me do a show here. I'll bring the people. So I used to go print my tickets and sell. To sell tickets and the whole bit.
Okay, but how did you sell? Were you just like walking down the street and just talking to strangers and saying,
Yeah,
"Hey, that's it"?
exactly. Hey man, you like comedy? You like comedy? Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm gonna be at this place. I'll let you to come down. Once you come down and buy a ticket. How much you think? It's ticket $7. Bring your girlfriend, have a good time. You're gonna have a good time, the whole bit.
Right.
So
So
you
you were
sell
you were
40, 50
hustling.
tickets. I was hustling every day. I was out in the
Wow.
street. I was in my office. I was like, I even had a little bullhorn at one point. I was on stage. I was in the subway, like, now here it is. Now here it is. My name is Julio, and I'm performing at that. And, you know, we were like, "Are you funny?" I say, "I'm so funny that if I'll make you laugh, I'll give you back your money. But if I do, you got to pay me twice, right?" So you know, I was doing slick things like that.
Right.
And then at one point, I said, "Why am I doing these clubs? Let me do a good club." So
Okay.
I went to the Comic Strip Live. Remember the Comic Strip Live on 84th
Yeah,
Street?
you're going way back.
Yeah. So there was this guy who managed. His name was Angel Ramirez. Never forgot
Okay.
the guy. He looked like a white guy, but he's Angel Ramirez. And I said, "Hey, can I talk to you?" He's like, "Yeah," because I was working up there. I was on 80 something street. So working up there. And I told him, "Do you ever do like a pre-show?" And he's like, "A what?" "A pre-show. Like a show before your show, because your show starts at 8:30. But what do you do between 6 and 8:30?"
Mm,
Because, well, we don't do much, but if you're gonna do a show, remember you got to be out of here by 8:15.
yeah.
And I said, "Okay." He goes, "What day do you want?" I said, "Well, I'm thinking of doing something on a Wednesday because I know on the weekends you guys are booked." He goes, "Yeah, weekends is out." I said, "Well, I would like to call it Hump Day Comedy."
That's good.
And he says, "Hump Day Comedy." I said, "Yeah." Now remember, I'm talking to a lot of guys that don't work.
Right.
This is all they do. They
Right.
don't, they don't have a job. So Hump Day to me was downhill. You're gonna
Yeah,
get paid
exactly.
Friday, so it's all good. So I said, "Okay." He says, "What day you want?" And I didn't think it was gonna be this easy. And he said, I said, let me march 4 weeks. I said, for 4 weeks ahead. So I did that, and I went out. I said, "What am I gonna do now? How am I gonna get people?" Right. So I said, "How can I get people to come to a show,
Hmm.
but I ain't got to worry about whether they're gonna show up or not?"
Okay.
So I sold pre-sold tickets. I went
Okay.
to
So you
Kinko's.
basically you collect the money, and then if they show up or not, you still got the money.
I still got the money.
Good.
But
Okay.
but but you got to give them something, right?
Yeah, of
So I
course.
went to my friend who knew a little bit about computers. Were brand new. Remember, 80 something, right?
Yep. Yep.
So he made me a ticket, with the venue and the whole bit on it. Julio. It was funny. It was just the words. No graphics. No nothing.
No numbers on the tickets.
No
No.
nothing. No nothing. So I took the ticket and I made a duplicate, and then I went to Kinko's and I made in sheets, like a
Okay.
bunch of sheets. Then
Yeah.
I cut them, and I cut them by hand with scissors. My hands were hairy. So I must have made like 200 tickets because the place fits like 190 or something like that.
Okay.
So I went around and I started like telling people I'm going to be at the Comic Shit Live. You should come see me. Like, Comic Shit Live, yeah, man. So I'm going to be at the Comic Shit Live. I'm telling you should come see me. Nah, this I got to see. I said $7, but it's pre-sold only. Like, so I'm,
Hmm.
I'm moving all these tickets. So I moved about 160 tickets, right, to
Right.
this place on a Wednesday in the Comic
Right.
Shit Live. And I was like, okay, I don't have no openers. I don't have no comedians, but I've been working with comedians. So I got a couple of comedians. Hey, you want to work Wednesday? They're like, "What? You got a gig?" Now check this out. I'm telling them, okay, you're going to open. I give you $75. Now, $75 is not, that's not, they don't get money like that.
Yeah, but back then that was like a big deal because you're talking about almost 40 years ago.
Yeah.
That
75
was that,
bucks
that's a lot of money back then.
to open. This is to
Right.
open.
Right. Right. Right.
And then I got a couple of people in the middle for me. And then they said, "Who's headlining?" I said, "Me." Now, I never headlined in my life. This is my first time headlining. I'm going to have
Right.
to go
Right.
up there 45 minutes and do what I got to do. So my son, pain in the ass he was, always say, Dad, how come I can't go on stage? I can't go on stage. I said, "All right, you want to go on stage? Come on, you're going to put you on stage." So, his thing, first time on stage, I said, "You're going to go on before me. You're just going to introduce me."
This is your son Justin?
My son, Justin, he was like 8
Okay.
or 9 years old.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I threw him up there, and he pulled it like, "Oh, well, how's it going?" Was he got kind of hooked with it, like, "Yeah, okay." I read the New York Times today. He started doing this thing. He goes, "Yeah, I'm so happy my dad. He hustled all you people in here. You know what I mean?" And then he's all like that. Then he goes, "Like the host of the most, the best of the rest. my dad, and then he brought me up there. And
Oh
then
wow. Okay.
I did that. He did pretty good. I mean, considering he's a kid, right?
Yeah, of course.
So I went out there. I don't know if I killed it, but they say I did well. Anyway, all these people were happy. Now, before the show, Angel comes to me and he goes, okay, I don't have enough waitresses. You have too many people here, bro.
Really?
And I said, well, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's your club, bro. He told me to bring him. I'll bring him. And he goes, damn, who is this guy, right?
Right.
He goes, have you never been? I said, nah. So, I hired an MC, an opener in the middle, and then I close.
Okay, so now you built a show right in his club.
Yeah, in his own club, like his own club.
So okay, so let me get this straight. He doesn't have enough waitresses. This is on Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
The place you have how many people? You said about 75?
No, 160.
160 people when he
What?
did not expect anybody until 8 o'clock. You're doing from 6 to 8:15.
Yeah.
So okay, how did he handle the problem with people ordering drinks or food or whatever?
No, he had to call some waitresses and they came in and handled it. So I didn't worry about that. They got here. That's
Yeah,
not my
of
problem.
course.
That's your
But
problem.
I'm just saying because he'll rebook you if you're bringing people like that because he's gonna make money.
Oh yeah,
Who's
he's
taking the
making
door?
money. He's making money before the show,
I
and
know,
that's
but who
what
was
he
taking the
liked.
door? Was you taking
But
the door? Or was he taking the door?
no, I take the door. He took the drinks.
Okay, so he took the bar, you took the
2 drink
door.
minimum. So he sold at least 300 drinks that night with me.
Wow. So
But
he made an extra X
whatever.
amount of dollars because
Whatever.
you said, let me try Hump Day Comedy.
Hump Day Comedy.
Oh, he must have loved you, man.
Oh, he loved it. He loved it. And then I told him, can I do it again? He goes, you don't even have to ask, man. Just come on in. So I went in. So I did another month.
Okay.
And then I started doing it like every month.
Okay.
I said, so the first 6 months, I was killing it, packing it.
Right.
I even was selling a month before, like a month before. Like I sold out 1 month. I said, sorry, that month is sold. But, next month, the next Wednesday, the last Wednesday of every month.
Okay.
So I said, look, I have a lot of people. I may have to do this twice a week. He goes, all right, you want to do it twice a week? Let's book this. So twice a week, I was selling out the 2 shows in a month.
Okay.
So, and I'm hiring different people,
So you mean twice a month? You were doing it twice a month?
Twice a month. Yeah, 2 weeks,
Okay.
two weekends a month. Not 2 weeks, 2 humps a month.
Right. 2 times a month.
Then it got fast. It was like in 4 months I was doing a weekly thing, like
Wow.
every week, and like it was sold out. Every week was sold out. 1 week was sold out, but I'm hustling every day. Hey, you want to buy?
Yeah,
Look,
sure.
this week is sold out, and I had different tickets. I had green tickets, red tickets. So every ticket was different, for this week.
Right.
This week, for that week.
If you try to come in and you try to be slick and say, "Hey, I got a ticket," and it's red.
It's red.
And
Nah,
this
that's
week
the
is
next
green.
week. You're
You
in the
out.
wrong. You're in the wrong week. This is this week.
Okay.
But you can wait on the side, and if we have enough people, we'll let you in, right?
Yeah, there you go.
So that brought more people because curiosity was like bringing people. I didn't even know who they were. Like I don't know who they were. Like
Wow.
so I'm bringing all these people in there. Now I'm getting better and better at the club.
Right. You feel comfortable. You kind of
I'm doing
you
all
in the
right.
groove. You feeling yourself. You got
And
everything.
I said, okay, this is the way I learned how comedy really works. Then you get booked in different places. They not in New York City. I got booked outside.
Okay.
And that's when it got really hard because now you're in a different crowd.
Yeah.
You're in a different crowd, different people. White people are different than black people. Black people are different. Never did Hispanics. Never did Hispanics. There was no Hispanics never came out.
Wow.
At that time. Remember in the 80s? Nobody. There was like
Yeah.
maybe 1 or 2 comedians, like Spanish comedians. Yeah, Angel Salazar. Angel Salazar?
Yep. Yes, I do.
Angel Salazar was already in the game. So was Rich Ramirez. So
And
was JJ Ramirez.
didn't Angel Salazar come out in a movie that even propelled him even more? What was that movie? Carlito's Way, one of those movies?
I think, yeah, Carlito's Way and Scarface.
And Scarface, right. Okay, so then he already from that
Yeah.
recognition, he's already
he had it. And then you had, Herbie Quinones, You had a
Right.
lot of good comedians. You had
Like
Joey
Lopez,
Diaz, Joey Diaz, Joey
Joey
Diaz,
Diaz.
Joey Diaz from Jersey. Funny,
Yep.
funny. You know, you go to Jersey, you do that. So
Joey
you're
Diaz
working.
is still around, by the way. He's still doing
Oh,
stuff.
Joey, Joey's great. I love Joey.
Yeah,
Joey's a great dude, man.
I see him a lot on a
You know, I
podcast.
tell you,
Yeah, yeah,
can't
yeah. He's
fuck
got the voice.
around.
He's got the voice.
Can't fuck around. Yeah, I know.
Oh my God.
You know,
Yeah,
sometimes people got to end up with the fish. You know.
he's always on Joe Rogan. He's always
Oh
on
yeah,
Joe Rogan.
he's Joey is he has his own following. He has his own like he's like ACDC, man. This guy. It's like
Right, right.
people just like this guy. You know, he's
Sure,
that
yeah,
good. I mean,
yeah.
but he's very personable. If you know, I don't know if you ever
Oh,
seen him
and
live.
he's very relatable, like as a New
Yes.
Yorker. You know what I mean? Like that kind of New
Yeah,
York.
he's from
Like,
Jersey, but he's Cuban. He's a Cuban kid,
I
right?
know, I know, but he has that whole New York kind of vibe too.
Yeah,
You know
he
what I'm
has.
saying? Like, he's
He grew up
got
with
it.
a
You
lot
know
of
what I'm saying?
Italians, so like he knows
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
the
He's got
mafioso
that
stuff is.
whole yeah, exactly. But
And
you got that too. I'm not gonna take that away from you, Julio. You got
uh
that whole New York vibe going on. You know, like
oh really?
you
Well, like I learned from these guys because these guys were the pros. I wasn't. I was new. So I'm
right,
learning from, JJ Ramirez was another guy, really good. The guy was like on the money, man.
right,
Um,
right, right.
um, and Joey, there was another guy too, Joey Vega,
Okay.
another guy. But those are few Latinos that I knew. Very
Yeah,
few.
back
There
then
wasn't
I
that
don't know.
many.
There wasn't that many. There wasn't
No,
that many
very few.
Latinos in comedy.
You had Andre Hernandez, a little
Hmm.
Cuban kid. He moved to Florida now. He like these guys were starting out. Roberto Vanderpool. Like these. Roberto was another guy that was really, really good. And then I did a lot of chitlin. I did a lot of black clubs. So I met a guy. That was the funniest guy I ever seen in the chitlin club. This guy never cursed.
Okay.
His name was Face Man. Face Man was the funniest dude. Never cursed, but he would say things that so I don't know. He was just cool about it. Like he
Okay.
was you know, I can't remember what he said. He said he had a one joke about a guy that had 1 foot. Because the guy only had one leg, but you ask him to lend you your bicycle, something like that. He'll say something like that. Yo, the guy was like, would you go to a blind man and say, can you see me? Stuff like that.
Oh, so it's kind of like that slapstick, kind of like
Yeah, very good. I mean, very good. The
yeah,
timing was
yeah, yeah.
excellent. And, like you meet a lot of other comedians you run through, like, Bill Bellamy was one, you run through Bill Bellamy, Joe Torre,
Right, right.
um, yeah, Cedric the Entertainer, what's his name? Uh, Tracy Morgan.
Okay, yeah, Tracy,
Tracy Morgan,
big Manhattan guy.
yeah, Manhattan. He was from Tracy Morgan was from the Bronx.
Right.
But Tracy Morgan was another guy, very real funny guy. Then he got contracted with
He just
Saturday
sat
Night
on the
Live.
Yeah, he got picked
Saturday
up.
Night
I remember
Live,
his
and
skits.
Saturday Night Live kind of like kind of depressed him a little bit because remember, you're making no money. All of a sudden, you're making 300 grand.
Right.
So you have to listen to the man.
Yeah, exactly.
You can no longer be creative.
Right, right. You got to do what they tell you to do, and they have
Exactly.
writers. They got a whole staff.
And
And
comedians are so used to that. Everybody
right,
thinks you're gonna get a break like Murphy. Murphy got a break that they let him write whatever he wants.
right, 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 right.
There wasn't anybody like Murphy. Murphy was young. He was impressive. He was there. They're gonna give him clout. They get that to Chappelle, but they did to Chappelle in a different way. Of
Right.
course, at the end they screw everybody. You know how that works, right?
Showbiz,
So
baby.
I learned by looking at that and like I can't contract with anybody. I'm
Mm,
just not. I'm not gonna do that because first of all, I was already in my 30s. Ain't nobody looking for no 30-year-old comedian.
right.
And at
But
that
that's not
time,
true anymore. That's not true. You got a lot of comedians that are
no,
very,
no.
very
Now I'm talking about back in the day. All the
back
comedians were
then, yeah.
young. I mean, these
The
guys were young,
stigma.
20. Chris Rock was just breaking out.
Chris
Chris
Rock
Rock
was
was
like
a
20 years old, man, when he came out.
Yeah, Chris
19,
Rock was a
20 years
kid.
old.
I mean, yeah, Chris Rock. You had Seinfeld just broke out.
Yeah,
Seinfeld just finished breaking out. So remember,
right.
Seinfeld picked up the show. He came from college. Seinfeld never worked a day in his life. Never had a regular
Wow.
job. The guy went from
Wow.
college, right to the clubs because he was clean. You know, he had clean material. Whether it was good, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He was good enough. It was good enough to say, well, I mean, he could talk about the common things, and people will relate to it because it's
Right,
relatable. And everything
right,
he
right,
talked
right,
to was relatable. Hey, if you notice this, you ever notice when you do your wash, you're always missing a sock? Where does that sock go? Do they
right, right,
escape?
right.
Do they hang
It's not.
out in the washer and then escape later in the dryer? Stuff like that.
Well, that's what his whole Seinfeld show was based upon. I
Yeah,
mean, it was just, it was
enough,
kind of like,
but it was brilliant. It was
right,
brilliant.
right, 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 right,
It's a brilliance that it wasn't supposed to take off because it's a New Yorker, but it did. It was
right.
really, really good. So then comedy started changing. When after I started doing the comic shit live, when I stopped doing that, it was because other comedians wanted to do it.
Right,
I could do that, but people forget. Yeah, because I could do it, but I've been working on it. You
right,
never worked on it, so it's not going to come out the same. Well, he brings all these people. I could bring all these people. I didn't bring all these people. I had to hustle
right,
everybody. I
right.
hustled everybody. Believe me, I hustled people like, hey, come on now, buy a ticket. They ain't gonna kill you. Buy a ticket. Come on, bring your friends, bring your
And
girlfriend, or
what
whatever.
helps is that you're a likable guy. So when you're talking to people and you're like, "Come on, just get a ticket. What's $8 or $10,
Yeah,
whatever?" They're gonna do it because they're like, "All right, you know what? Or even to just get you off your back, get
yeah,
them
yeah.
off.
All right, let's see this
Right,
guy. And then they
here's a
see me, and
$10.
then a lot of them were like they were very surprised. They were like, oh, wow, I didn't. It to be like that.
Well,
And
I
and,
saw
and it
that
wasn't that I
firsthand, by
was
the way.
good. I wasn't really. I think I'm better now
Uh huh.
than I was then. I just had more bullets then. I was, like more. A lot of guys weren't married. I was married, so I did a lot of marriage stuff, having kids, stuff like that. They never had
Right.
that before.
Relatable stuff to people
So
that are married.
it became, as the world turns, these guys started getting married, having kids. So it became they kind of caught up with me, right?
Right.
So now I'm on that loop no more. I'm not in that loop because we moved to Florida,
Hmm.
and in Florida, once you go to Florida, it's dead,
Right.
done.
Back
There's
then,
nothing going on.
you were
Yeah,
around cow fields and
yeah.
corn and
It
orange
was
fields and
yeah, and nobody really knows you. I mean, I did never, I wasn't hustling to get a gig the way other comedians were doing it. You know what I
mm,
mean? They were
right,
out every night. I wasn't doing that because I was married anyway, and I didn't want to do that. Like,
right, right.
and if you get a break, you want to go, we have a perfect set for you, a sitcom, but you got to go to California. I'm like, I can't go to California,
Wow.
man.
So wait a minute. Somebody offered you something to go to California and do?
Yeah, I always got offered for acting. I'm not an actor. And like I don't like acting. I'm not an actor. I don't want to act. They're like, oh, but it's good for you. It brings it up. I wasn't looking for that.
Right.
I like live performance. That was my thing.
The thing about it, it's funny that you say that because I heard Joe Rogan and he was talking to another comedian. I can't remember off the top of my head who he exactly was talking about, but they said the same thing. They're like, yeah, we're not actors, and it's just, but
Yeah.
the thing about it is that a lot of them try it because the upside on that is so good, you know,
Well, it's good in a
and the
way,
exposure
but
too.
we got to remember too. You don't know what you're gonna expect.
Right.
Like a lot of these guys that went into the movies, their life didn't turn out that well in the sense
Mm,
of relationships, being married and a
right.
lot of
Right.
temptation out there, bro. A lot. I mean,
Hollywood, bro.
there's a
Hollywood.
lot of temptation, and you go on the road and these guys think they're players because you're comedians. I'm like, I wasn't a player, bro. I just like, and it wasn't that I didn't want to play. It's just that I know I couldn't. I was married, so I was like,
Right. Right.
can't do
All right.
that. I don't
So
want to
so
smell like
so
nobody
now
coming home.
I don't mean to cut you off, but now, okay, so now we're past the 80s. You're in the 90s now. What era are we talking about?
You're talking about when I moved to Florida in '93.
Okay.
So you're looking at from '88 to '93 in New York. That was my hot. That's my hot spot there.
Okay, now, quick question. You
Mhm.
leave, so now you're 93, you're in Florida.
Yeah.
When do you come back to New York?
Uh, 90, 98.
Okay, so you lasted 5 years in Florida. You're
I
back
did
in New York.
5 years. Well, 4.5 years. I moved to Puerto Rico for a year.
Okay, so let's say you were away from New York for 5 years solid,
Yeah, I
regardless
was
of where you
I was
were.
the yeah. So I did shows in Florida, some shows.
Okay. Some you did a couple, you dabbled here and there,
Yeah,
whatever.
I did a few, and I got hooked up. At one point, I had like a bad marriage and stuff like that. So I was on my own. I had nowhere to go. Like I mean, I know I screwed up. It wasn't her fault. It was my fault.
Okay.
Just not. I was going through PTSD. I didn't know what it was. You know what I mean?
Sure,
So
sure. Because I know
I
you were
was
in the
going through that.
military, right?
I didn't know, and I was too embarrassed to ask anybody for help.
For help, right?
Like I
Right.
just was one of the. I'm one of those guys. Like I was
Right. Which
just too
happens.
embarrassed.
That's more common than you think. A lot of people with
Oh, it is.
PTSD don't. Yeah,
Well,
that's very, very common that they
and
won't ask for help.
it was at one point I said, "What can I do?" And I said, because I didn't work for a year, maybe 2 years.
Okay.
And I said, "Shit, man, you're a comedian, dude. You could do any club you want." And I'm like, you're right. So I stood outside a comedy club. I went there in the afternoon, but I didn't want to waste gas. I didn't have no money.
Okay.
So I waited until they're ready to open, and I went in there and I'm like, "Hey, you guys need like a open stand up." And the owner says, "Well, it's not my show, but you can ask the guy who's coming to the show in." And I said, "All right." So I went to him and I told him, I've been. He says, "Well, how long you been doing comedy?" I said, 10 years. I don't think he believed me. And he says, "All right, well, I'll tell you what." I said, "Look, man, I just want a spot, get something to eat, get a little bit of money. I'm not here to." He goes, "No, no, don't worry. I'll make sure you get paid in the whole bit." So he says, "How about $50?" I said, "That's fine." And food, right? He goes, "Yeah, no problem." So so I opened up for him. Now he had another kid that was with him. Now I opened up. Like this is how you learn etiquette on stage. Remember I told you got to down tone for the next guy.
Yep, absolutely.
I didn't know how to do that.
Okay, so just for people that are watching or whatever, they're gonna see this stream or whatever.
Yeah.
What is downtoning? What do you have to do that? Because I know what it means based on what
Okay. Downtown is when you're doing a show, a comedy show. Depending on what you have, most comedy shows at that time, you had an MC, you had an open, you had a middle, and then you had a headliner.
Right,
Okay. You don't want to outdo your middle. You
right,
don't want to go there and blow up your middle, then your middle got nothing. And then the
right,
middle kind of makes it where he can go there, but remember he's introducing the headliner. The headliner knows how to handle all that. The headliner don't
right,
worry about if you
right.
do very, very well or whatever. But a middle got to worry about the opener, whether
Mm,
he's gonna blow up the place.
okay.
And and I blew up the place.
Oh.
And I didn't when the kid he's a black kid, right? When he walked by me, he was gray.
Oh man. He's like,
And
how am I gonna follow that thing? How am I gonna follow this
yeah,
guy that just
exactly.
came
And
here?
like I felt bad. I'm like, damn, but I told the headline, I said, "Look, my man, I told you 10 years." He
10
goes, "Yeah,
years.
I know, I didn't believe you." I said, "I know, but this kid, like," he goes, "Don't worry, he'll be all right. He'll learn. There's a learning
Well,
experience."
yeah, exactly. He had
So
to cut his teeth somewhere just like you did in your first show. It's the
yeah, I
same
did.
thing.
Yeah. So when he came back, I apologized to him. He goes, "Ah, nah, man, don't apologize, man. That's my fault." I said, "No, bro, I should know better. I've been doing this long enough. I should have ease it out, where you could bring it in." And he's like, "Don't worry. That's what it is. But the
Mhm.
headliner was really, really good. So when he finished, he says, "Where you live at?" And I said, "See that van over there? That's where I live at." He's like,
Oh
"You live
man.
in Maine?" I said, "Yeah." Yeah, the boss, the whole band. He's like, "I'll tell you what, we're going over to University of Central Florida. You want to come with us? We'll go. We'll just go. We'll tour like the 4 or 5 colleges, and I'll bring you back here. I'm like,
Okay.
yeah, let's do this. So I went and I went a couple of colleges. I came back, he dropped me off. He goes, yo, man, it's like really good. I would like to work with you because he was from Louisiana or something like that.
Okay.
And he was real funny dude. And he's like, yo, man, don't give up, man. You real good, bro. Like he was a white guy, a southern white guy. He was like really cool. And I said, damn. Then after that, I went to Puerto Rico. That was 97, so I went to Puerto Rico, and I told my mother called me out of nowhere, like, "What's the matter?" I said, "Oh, nothing, Mom. I'm all right." "No, you're not." She's like, "No, no, no." She knew it. So I
Yeah,
went
moms
down there,
know.
stood with her.
Moms know when something's wrong when they hear it in
They
your
know,
voice.
they know. So I went out there, stood with her for about a year. Help her out. She really helped me out. I wasn't helping nobody. I had nothing,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
My sister too. My sister helped a lot, so I owe her a lot. You know what I mean? I'm like, and then when I got back to New York, I did a couple of shows. Not too much, not too many. I did a few shows, and then when I got back in the swings, I started doing shows like 98, 2000, 2001. Did production again. I did a couple of shows in the Bronx. I did, you do the routine because it takes years for you to come back.
Sure. Yeah, because now you've been out of the game for some time now, and
Yeah.
now you got to get again. You got to get
Back
your footing
acclimated,
and
right? So in 2006, I got sick. I mean,
okay.
real sick. I was out. I was out. I had to quit my job, everything. I
Wow.
was out for 18 months.
Wow.
So it was like, hit or miss. Like, they even had rumors, oh, I think Julio, he's going to die. You better go see
Oh
him.
my God. Okay.
It was bad. It was bad. And, I pulled through it. You know what I mean? And then I did, I came out and I tried to do a couple of shows. I was too weak. And then I waited. So I was like really in dormant for like almost 3 years. And,
Okay.
but all that time, I still love comedy. I'm like, still going through it. And then I met, I haven't seen my friend in a long time, Alan Chan, right?
Hmm.
And he goes, yo. I said, yo, who I haven't seen you in a long time? Because I haven't seen Alan. I mean, I know Alan since the 80s, right?
Right.
And then I haven't seen him in a while. And then I saw him again. And Alan was very, very good comedian. I mean, he passed away, unfortunately. But he told me, you ever thought about doing radio? I
Hmm.
said, radio? No. What do you mean? Who's going to give me radio time? Nobody. He goes, yo, they will give you radio time. He says, it's called internet radio. We call that
Okay.
podcast.
Yeah, because back then this was all new. This was all
Brand
new.
new. So we did internet radio in 2000. It was 2006 because after I did the show, I got sick, really sick. So I didn't do anything for another 9 months.
Right.
And then, we did it. And then we did a show called Julio and Chan at the Tribeca Radio.
Oh, sweet.
Tribeca
But
Radio.
just
We did.
give me 1 second. I just want to shout out my son. My son is watching. He's he's on there. He put something in the chat.
Uh,
All right, so I want to say hello. Big shout out to my son. He's watching on
Yo, what's up, Papa? Everything good, right? That's
there.
good. Like,
So now
so
you're in internet radio and you're hanging out with your boy. What's his name? Chan?
Alan Chan,
Alan
Dr.
Chan.
Alan Chan. And
Okay. How did
it's funny because his name is Richard Alan Chen, but he made up his name, Alan Chan. He goes, if
okay.
anybody sues me, there is no Alan Chan. He was an attorney, real bright. I mean, brilliant man. Like we used to I put it this way. From 2006 to 20, he died in 20 December 2022, right?
Right.
I talk to this man every single day.
Oh my God, really?
Every day I talk to him. I talk to him every single day. And it was like, like he was like my third, hey Alan, I got this idea. And they're like, oh yeah. So we try to do things in Netflix and the whole bit. Ain't no panned out, but we tried it. You know what I mean? We're looking. We're all looking at it. And we did different shows. We had a show where we had like 10 guests. They used to come on. We had co-hosts. We had people from Atlanta. We had people from Chicago. We had people from LA. And the first show we did, we had a guy that used to call in from England every time we
Wow.
did a show.
Okay.
So we had quite a few people listening. They were coming in, and like it was in Tribeca Radio. We did that for a couple of years, and then we went from there. We did an FM station in Long Island for about a year. Then we
Okay.
came back here and we started doing a thing called Blog Talk, and Blog Talk was really where we did the bulk of our work. We did I mean, I must have 1,000 hours of work with that.
What
And
happened?
this is
But whatever happened to all that material, all those shows?
I got some. I got like maybe 100 hours of it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Because I know a
It's
lot of that stuff back then, there was no way of recording this stuff
yeah.
back then.
No,
It was
I
all
put it
me.
on DVDs, on
Oh,
CDs.
okay, okay,
I had
okay.
somebody compress it for me, and they put it together. And I mean, it's raw. It's raw because it's not. Remember, we did a show with nothing. We didn't have a written script. We just like went, like get people to
Off the
come on
cuff.
and
It was just off the
just
cuff.
talk about
Oh,
different
okay, so
things.
now let's change gears a little bit. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Liz. Liz is watching. Elizabeth,
Oh,
my wife.
Liz, how you doing?
And you got Dave Steve is also on too. He's watching, so he's on there. But
Oh,
okay, so it says he's in the house. Dave Steve is in the house. Okay, so now you did the comedy. You started rough first time. Then you got your groove on. You moved to Florida. Florida, you kind of shut down a little bit. You go to Puerto Rico. You come back to New York. You're on the radio. How did you get back on? Like, so now I meet you. We're gonna fast forward to 2022. 2022. Let's talk about how did first of all, let's talk about how we met and then how you got into this whole thing and how you started live streaming on
okay.
Ticket Life and doing the pay-per-view events. How was that?
Okay. Before that, I mean, before I met you, my idea of filming and selling it was always in my head. I just didn't have an easy way of doing it. So what I did is I produced a couple of shows, in between all that because I was working in the whole bit. So I hired somebody to film, and every time they filmed, it was always bad. Either too dark, can't hear it. It was a mess, and they wasn't professional. I wasn't paying that much money. Right? A couple of $100 was no money. Like
Right, right,
so I can't push somebody like that. That's not. I'm not doing that. And
right.
I had a couple of, and then I had one that I put it. The guy filmed it, put it on DVDs, and I put it on DVDs. And I went to this place called Disc Makers.
Okay.
I put Disc Makers, and I made a whole. And I don't have any of these DVDs at all. None.
Wow, you didn't keep one?
Not one. Not one. I don't know
Wow.
where it is. It's gone. It's gone, bro. It's gone. Right. So
Okay.
I had it, and I put like a quick cover on it and the whole bit, like graphics. And I sold like 800 of them, like
Wow.
$10. So,
Wow.
yeah, because I was out there hustling. Yo, you want to see the show? Want to see the show? Right? I'm like, oh, but I only did that one time. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
After that, I'm like, okay. I just couldn't get the money enough to produce and have a good film to make it happen. And believe me, the one I had, I was selling, it was shitty, bro. It was even worse than the first one you shot.
Okay.
The first one you shot is professional compared to
Right,
what I
right.
had to
Well,
sell.
we had a lot of challenges,
Yeah, of course, yeah.
with
But
that
but
first one.
it's a learning, like I said, it's a learning experience. I'm used to putting money to produce.
Right.
I'm just not. I'm not.
That was on a
I'm not the type of guy
shoestring
that
and
waits.
bubblegum budget. I don't know if you remember that. That was really
Yeah,
and I polished and cleaned. That's like putting lipstick on a pig. I had to put lipstick on that pig, man, because
yeah,
that was rough. But
yeah. Because I wanted to be my own man. Um, I never even thought about whether I'm good enough to do it. I just,
mm,
wanted to do it. I never thought about, okay, what happened if I bomb? I never think about that stuff.
right, right,
I could put a whole show together, bring 150 people in the room and bomb. That can happen too. You know what I
right,
mean?
right, right.
So, Dave is on. Your boy Dave Steve.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's shouting out. He's shouting out. My son there.
Yeah. So yeah, so we're there, and I'm like, okay, so what am I gonna do with these DVDs? So I tried to do another one, but it didn't work out. It just, it wasn't. I was trying to do it even cheaper, so I tried to burn them myself. Don't do that. Don't ever do anything yourself, because if you don't know how to do it, it's gonna look crappy.
Right, right,
All you people that want to do production, pay the money. It's easier. It's
right,
more, like, and don't worry about getting the money back. You always get the money back somehow, some way, somehow. You know what I mean?
right, right,
So, so I said, now I came up here. I was in Connecticut. I had to do a lot of shows in New York. So I had to produce
right,
these shows in New York. I go to Connecticut, go all the way to New York, sell the tickets, come back up here, go back down, do a show, come back up here. It was crazy.
right.
Like you get booked, you go to New York, and this is like, this is from 2000. I figured like after I got sick, you figure like 2008 forward,
So you're
like
running back and forth from Connecticut to New York. But let's
Connecticut,
let's
New
let's
York.
fast forward though. Let's
Because
fast forward.
I lived in White Plains at one point, then we moved up here. So I've been up here 15 years. So for the
But let's
first,
let's fast forward now. Now we're actually we're in New York. We're doing comedy. You and I meet. We meet at that one set.
the one set. Okay.
Right,
The way that worked out is I told the comedian that I was working with, Greg the Greek,
right,
I said, Greg, if there's a way that we can get live stream, because I've been trying to find it and I couldn't find it. And everywhere I went for live stream, it was very expensive, 3-4 grand, just to get the hookup.
right.
And you still have to get a film crew. You still have to get somebody that knows what they're
Sure,
doing.
sure.
So he goes, yo, I got somebody who's gonna do it. I met this guy with like the boxing, the whole bit. I'm like, really?
Yeah,
So
actually, let me tell you the story how we met Craig.
you
Greg,
there?
we were doing Manhattan. Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, you froze a
Can
little
you hear
bit.
me? Okay, so we were in Manhattan doing a show, and here's Greg outside waiting to get into the boxing show, and he goes, "Excuse me, you work here?" And I'm like, "No," because he saw the credentials on my neck, and it's because I was doing the show. And he says he's trying to get in because one of his buddies fighting, and he's trying to get a ticket. The guy's not answering the phone because he's getting ready for his boxing.
Right,
So
exactly.
I told the guy at the door, I'm like, "Hey, he's part of our crew. His tag is upstairs. He's got to come upstairs. He's part of the show." So I brought him in. I
Oh,
said, "Hey,"
nice,
because
nice.
he's telling me he's a comedian. His voice is funny. His voice is very authentic. It's one of a kind. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna put him on. So I put him on with Dave. We're sitting there, and he starts saying jokes, and we start laughing, and it was just pretty cool. And that's how I met him. And then he asked me later on, fast forward, to
Right.
do that show in Queens,
Do the
and
show
that's
in
where I
Queens.
met you.
Yeah, and that show, even though because we did 4 shows here in Connecticut with him, and
Right.
he did 4 shows before, and I sold out all the shows.
That's
He
in
left here
center
with money.
stage.
He always
Is
left here
that?
with money.
But
Always left
that's
with
center
money.
stage in the same theater you're doing it now.
No, I did that in it was a bar. It was a
Okay.
bar restaurant. We did it in the back room, you know,
Okay.
and
Okay.
and so it was good because it was local. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I started promoting it from the supermarket because I work in a supermarket.
Right.
Because when I first got here, I said, well, if I'm going to get a job and I want to do comedy up in Connecticut, I never did comedy in Connecticut before. So I'm like, how am I going to get people to come to a show if I don't go out? I don't drink. I'm not a bar guy. I just don't, I don't do that.
Right.
I mean, I'm in my late 50s. What am I doing, right? So I said, I know, because my wife got sick. She's a cancer survivor. So I stayed home with her for a while. And then when she got better, thank God. I mean, with the
Yeah.
praying and the whole bit,
Absolutely.
in 2016 or 2017, I told her, well, I'm going to go. I was already retired. I told her, I'm going to go, get me a part-time job in the supermarket. So I got a job at BJ's. Now, BJ's, even though people come in, it's not really kind of friendly atmosphere, if you know what
Yeah,
I
you
mean.
can't socialize too much. Everybody's
It's
kind of
not
moving.
socialization. It's not that
Right.
good.
So you're
So
looking to socialize to get people to eventually sell them tickets and get them in the door and get them to your show.
Yeah, exactly. It's a promotional move.
Right.
Right? So
Right.
here I am. I said, so I'm at the supermarket and I meet the deli guy, the deli manager. And he's like, oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah, oh, I like you, because I was, I'm a talker, right? I talk to everybody. Because man, I like your style. Like, I say, you guys looking for anybody? He goes, oh, we're looking for somebody in Delhi. I said, yo, I'm in Delhi now at BJ's. He goes, yo, you want to come? Just come and do the thing. So he did, and they hired me.
Wow.
So I said, I so I was in both jobs for like maybe a year.
Okay.
And then I told BJ's, nah, I didn't like BJ's, like it's not my cup of tea over there. So
Right.
I started working here. Now here it is, 6.5 years later, right? I'm working people all day. I'm a comedian. How you doing? What's going on? Like back and forth, blah 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 blah. So about 3 years ago, I put together that first show, sold it out. Everybody came,
Yeah,
60
I remember
people.
that.
Here we go. So I met Greg. Before I met Greg, I told Greg, I saw you perform. I would like to produce you in a show in a theater in New York. So I did that for him. We filmed it. We did everything. I gave him the thumb drive. I said, look, man, burn this out, sell it to your friends. Let's make the money back. That didn't pan out, but it's okay. It's not a big deal, right? So I tell him, would you like to do a show up in Connecticut? Because I was going to leave comedy. I wasn't going to do it no more. I'm like, that's it.
Wow.
I'm done. I'm done. I ain't doing this no more. And he goes, no, you got to do it, this and that. Now, Greg never saw me perform before. So the first couple of times they see me perform, I'm okay. Remember, I'm feeling myself back in.
Right. Right.
It's his thing. But he noticed that every time I do a show, I just got better and then better. And then at one point, you're like, wait a minute. You've been doing this for a long time. I said, yeah, I've been doing this for a while. So it came to a point where I told them, we got to do something better. We got to do something bigger. And I said, how about if we find a place, we film it, and we put it on live stream? And he went, yo, I got this guy that does live stream, blah, blah, blah. He's talking. So he tells me, told me the price. You know what the price is, right?
Right.
And I told him, is that each of us? He went, no, that's the whole thing. I'm like,
Right.
really?
I get my huge discount.
Got nothing. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? I'll do that by myself. And he's like,
Right.
no, you
Right.
don't have to do that, whatever. Anyway, we went there. To meet disaster. You know how it is. You go there, there's no light, there's no white light, there's nothing. I'm
Oh, that
calling
was
you,
rough.
yo, Papa, there's no
I
white
cleaned.
light
Listen, I
over
cleaned it
here.
up as much as I could, but
No, you did a fine job, believe me. It was really good. And then so
yeah,
my
that's okay. So
idea,
now that's you and I.
yeah,
Now
you
we're
and I, and my idea now is to produce shows and sell the live stream at all the demand. And basically it's almost like doing residuals on one show. That's basically what it is. And I
yeah, 'cause
try to explain
you
this to different comedians
you
in
could
sense.
keep selling it up to a year. You could keep
Yeah, you got
selling
a year
live
to
stream.
sell it. So, why not? I mean, I think Dave Steve did a great justice in sense of putting this live stream, live, like Ticket Life together
Yeah,
and make it
absolutely.
affordable for people to get on that platform because it was too expensive for anybody else. I mean, and believe me, I searched for live stream companies. Then you don't even talk to anybody. You do everything online.
Right, I'm gonna put that in the chat just so people can see the actual the website in case anybody wants to go to it. It's called ticketlife.com. You can go to ticketlife.com and you can produce your own show, which is really cool. You can get a live camera crew, you can sell tickets. It's like it's all in one. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Okay, so now we did a couple shows. We just did a show back in March 23rd, just a couple weeks ago. I want to show a little piece of that. Can we do that right now, real quick?
sure,
All right,
sure.
let's bring that up. So this was actually there that evening. Let's just put a little bit on and just
Right? They're like, oh, we don't do that in our country. Where you from, man? And then he'll tell me some Estonia, like any Polish in here? Any Polacks up in here? No Polacks? Any Dominicans in the house? One Dominican, Dito. One Dominican, Dito. Dominicans, almost Puerto Rican, almost. Because Puerto Ricans are like, they're the only people in the world that excuse me, so what race are you? I'm Puerto Rican. They never say color. They never say, I'm white, I'm black. They're like, I'm Puerto Rican. No, yo soy puertorriqueño hasta la muerte. And I say, pendejo, is this hasta la muerte? You know what that means, hasta la muerte, right? Till I die. Yeah, exactly, till you die. You Puerto Rican, there's nothing you can do about that. And when I became Puerto Rican and I knew about it, I'm like, oh shit. What's that about? Right? What's that about? Right? And like I was kind of naive as a kid, right? So I thought everybody that was Spanish was Puerto Rican. You want to insult Spanish people? Just call them all Puerto Ricans. They get pissed. You say, oh, Spanish people, you guys are together. No, we're not. No. Like for instance, like my nephew lives in Arizona, and sometimes they call him Mexican, or he gets mad. I'm Mexican. I'm Puerto Rican. I said, dude, they don't know that around here. Just go with it. Go with the flow. You understand, right? You Mexican, right? Not Mexican? No Mexicans here. That's messed up, man.
Let's stop it right there. But that was good. That was really, really good, man. I had a good time there. We actually live streamed that. If you want to get that show, you can go to ticketlife.com. But go hit on the Julio. The what was it? What did you call it? The spring comedy show?
Springtime comedy event.
Springtime comedy event. You can check that out. That was we had a great time. There's a lot of topics that you touch. You do a lot of current events. One of my personal favorites is the character that you do. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, Tito Pito.
Tito Pito. Yeah, that's my guy, man. Tell us a little bit about Tito Pito. Where did he come from?
Tito Pito. Wow. It's amazing. Tito Pito was a guy that I grew up with, in the projects.
Is this okay? This was a real dude.
Yeah, but his name was Albert, but they called
okay. But
him,
we want to protect this.
Like, don't ask me how it comes, but I knew him since elementary school. I mean, he was always, always. He wasn't like a real friendly guy, but he was charismatic. He was, a smart dude. He was, he had nice family, mother, father, like in the whole bit. And then when we got to junior high school, this kid got into the heroin, and I'm like, damn, he's only 13 years old. He's doing heroin. I mean, which is, it was kind of rough. And every time I used to see him, you go to the store, he's like nodding, like, nah, what's up? What's up? Huh? he just talks. And when he talks, he just says things, where you been at? What do you mean where I been at? I've been here. Like, nah, I don't see you that much no more. I joined the military. I was out,
Right.
And he's like, yo, you don't hang out. Like, but, I know this guy all my life. We never hung out. It's like,
right.
But he doesn't know that. He's just talking because at the end, he wants to get some money.
Right. He's going to ask you for that money for the heroin, for the high.
So, he's a character because the guy used to read newspapers. So he used to come up with current events himself. Like, he had his own. Yeah, that's, what happened, and he'll talk about something that happened. Then he goes, that's fucked up, right? Huh? Now, do me a favor, man. Let me $1. You know what I mean? Something like that, and because he enthused me, I used to give him the $1.
Well,
but
and he
it wasn't
current events, man. He was like current news. Like
he read the newspapers, the guy with the headlines, and he does it, like you have it,
You can't beat that for $1, Julio. $1, you get
$1,
entertainment and you get current events. Come on.
So it was a character in which I saw from the beginning to I seen him later, but he passed away a couple of years after that. But this cat, I mean, you got to understand, and when it comes to to drugs or heroin addicts, the determination for them to get high is so big.
Mm.
You got to remember, this guy had a habit in the late '70s of $100 a day.
Wow.
So
Wow.
how did he stay high? Like, what was he doing?
He was hitting up guys like you for a
He hit
dollar.
everybody. But he had to work for it. He worked.
Yeah.
He worked it, right?
Right. Right.
And this hustle, you get $100 a day. I mean, you make $100 a day today. It's not great money, but it's not bad money.
Yeah. You could kind of survive.
Yeah, but this guy's doing it 7 days. So you're
Right.
looking at $700 a week.
Wow.
$2,800 a month. I mean, that's something.
Right.
And I think people don't give people like this credit enough
Mm.
for what they need to do.
Right.
Because remember, the determination he had was really, really good. I mean, it was almost unbelievable because he dropped out of school. It's not like he's the best dressed guy in the world. He's not. He wasn't. His hands were swollen. You know what I mean?
Mm.
The guy's a junkie. What pissed me off about him? He had a full head of hair. Really pissed me off.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Well, that's funny.
a full head of hair. This fucking guy. He has a full head of
But
hair. Huh?
just so you know, that's the character that a lot of people request from you. I
Yeah.
I I love that character. I wish I had something queued up to show, but it was great that you did a little piece there. But uh, you know, Julio, tell us what's happening with you now, because we've been talking last couple days, and you said some stuff that you're looking to do, that you're looking
Oh,
forward to do.
oh
Tell me
man.
a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, I mean, you already know, like on April 24th, I have a show at the Eatery in Ansonia. It's a comedy dinner. It's in the hump comedy. You believe that? I have hump
Okay.
day comedy, like we're starting all over again. Route
Wow.
one, right? And then in
Is that your show or
probably
you're headlining? How's that?
yeah, I'm the headliner. I get like two other comedians to come on, and they pay me for it, so it's not like I have to go make it work. I don't have to, I just have to show
You're
up and
not
stuff.
producing it. Yeah, you're not
Which I haven't
producing.
done that in years. I haven't done
Wow.
a show up in years. Like
Wow.
when you just show up and
Sure.
just do your thing and leave.
Sure.
The way Greg used to. He used to come up and do his thing and leave, right? Like, but
Right.
you still get paid, right?
Right.
So, like that's my plan. My plan in July again to do the theater again, and of course next year. And I told you this, today. I called you like I'm doing Carnegie Hall, baby.
Oh, big, big,
I'm
big
gonna do
leap, man.
Carnegie Hall. So all you folks that want to come see me in Carnegie Hall, and I'm not doing the little room, I'm doing the big room. So
Wow.
like, of course, God willing, this is my production. It's not like they're gonna book me and they're looking for me. Ain't nobody looking for me. Ain't
Okay.
nobody looking for me. But if you want to look for me that day, that's the day to look for me, right there in Carnegie Hall, New York City, which I'm gonna be on 7th Avenue out there at the big room. I'm doing the big room,
So we're
God.
speaking this into existence for next year, for 2025.
For 2025, yeah. So all you folks out there that like it's my dream. It's been my dream for a long, long time. I always wanted to do a stage like that, and I did theaters before. I did, but something like that is something that I want to do. It's in my heart. I feel I'm ready. I think I've been ready for a long time. It's just that I had so many other things going on. I had
Sure.
health issues. I had financial issues. Everything going. Everything like went down. But at the same time, I try to keep my humor up with people. I just I like being around people. I like talking to people, and I don't care what people think is like about what they want in sense of your life is your life, and I support that 100%. I think you know everybody has to pay for their own downfalls, but I think that people in general, they're funny. Anybody can be a comedian. I really believe that anybody can be a comedian, but are you brave enough to do it after you bomb? That's the trick.
Right. But I
Okay.
think it's with everything. I think
When
that's with
you mess
everything.
something really bad, The only thing people can mess up really bad and do it again is sex.
Mm,
That's
okay.
the only thing. Everything else, you're not gonna do it again. You know, you get to a ring and you get knocked out. I don't think you're gonna go back in the ring. You know what I mean?
Well, you
And
know,
the
that's
guys that do that are the guys that belong there.
well, the other thing is that they say about public speaking in comedy, in sorts, is public speaking. Some people rather die than public speak. So
Oh yeah,
it's
public. I heard public speaking is probably the thing people most fear the most.
more
Is
than
public
death, more than
public.
death.
I don't know. I don't think I ever feel. I like talking to a bunch of
That's
people,
cool.
acting a fool, whatever, messing up. I mean, like I conscious sometimes because I mean I don't have a lot of words. I'm not a big vernacular guy. I don't have like vocabulary. I don't have. I understand a lot of stuff, but I'm not here to to be sophisticated. I don't want to be a sophisticated guy because I'm not. Like
Right.
we want to be a sophisticated. I
You
want
just
to
want to
sound
be,
smart.
but the thing about you, Julio, is that you're very relatable. You know what I mean? With the common person that's working, that's hustling, that's and then you point out things that you find humor in that we may see on a daily basis, but we just don't see the humor in it until you point it out, and that's what makes you special, and that's what makes you a great comedian. And
Oh well, thank you. I
I
appreciate
got to tell you, I'm looking for. I can't wait to see what
it.
happens on April 24th, and then in July, and then next year in 2025. I'm really looking forward to it. I know that you're gonna grow from here to then, and things are gonna work out. I know you're a hustler. I've seen you hustle. I've seen you doing your thing. I've seen you at your lows. I've seen you at your highs, and there's no doubt in my mind that you're gonna succeed. And I'm glad because not a lot of people would take that leap like that and
Well,
and
you know
put that
something?
out there.
I'm 69 years old, bro. You got to take a shot now.
If not
I,
now, when?
I'm not waiting. I mean, I've been. It took me 33 years to do comedy. Because I always wanted to do comedy. I just didn't know. Remember, like I told you before, there's no schools. Nobody's taking you by and teaching you anything.
Right,
You you're learning on failure.
right,
Period.
right,
Strictly failure. And I give comedians a lot of credit. I don't care if you're good, if you're bad, just to do it's something that it's a special person. And unfortunately, because of TikTok and social media, people think they could do this.
right,
Oh, I could do. I'm not. To me, go do it. I mean,
right.
go do it. But you got to remember, there's madness to everything, and like what are you willing to sacrifice
Mm,
for that? Are you willing to sacrifice your own? Are you will be vulnerable enough to stay out there and stand naked in front of everybody and go,
mm.
"Hey, this doesn't work." What can I do about it?
All right,
Because
I'm gonna ask you one question real quick.
yeah,
Uh, and here's one. It's Lisa. Lisa, she says you're really funny. All right,
Lisa.
so I wanted to ask you, did you ever get heckled on stage?
I got
And
heckled. Not, no, I don't get heckled a lot. Um,
okay, and how
but
did
I
you
did.
handle that? How did you
I,
handle it?
I'm, yeah, I'm not. You know what it is? It's like when I'm on stage, I want to take control. I'm just right from the get. I'm not there to like. I'm not taking that. But
Well,
I
the thing
learned.
about what I learned about you, Julio, and I don't mean to cut you off,
Uh-huh.
is that you're telling a story the whole time. So it's not like the person, the heckler, doesn't really have a lot of opportunity to get in there and heckle you because it's just your storytelling.
And if I do get heckled, what I normally do, I mean, I used to react. Like when I first started, you react. Oh yeah, really? What you want to do this battle? What I do is just stop and just listen to him.
Okay.
You finished yet? Because I'm the one getting paid. But if you want me to pay you can finish it if you want. If you want, come up here. I'll give you the mic. Do what you got to do. Because like it's not. I'm not trying to challenge people. I'm just trying to entertain. I'm an
Right.
entertainer first. I like entertaining. I like being with people. I just like people. I don't know why. It's like it's crazy. I see a lot of people and I get excited. I mean, I
Okay.
go to work, and believe me, I don't like. It's not that I don't like my job. It's like it's a job. Nobody wants
Right.
to do a job, right?
Right. Right. Right.
But when I see people, I get excited and I get
Mm,
happy, and then I'm
right.
like, you don't need a reason to be happy. The reason will show up. Just be happy, and it'll show up, and it
Amen.
shows up
Amen,
every
sir.
single time. I
Mm,
tell people, I try to make people feel better. Like, I don't need a reason to be happy. I'm just happy, and look, you showed up, so now I'm happier, right? So they're
right.
like, oh, well, thank you. Like that's a good thing because you try to leave them with a positive thing so they can go
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely. You don't know what their day is going like, and then you tell them something like that, you might brighten up somebody's day.
I try to. I
And
try to because depression is not a good thing. I've been
right.
through it, and it's not something that you take lightly, even though people think they do. Like, well,
Right.
he's depressed. I'm like, no, it ain't that. It's not that he's depressed. He doesn't know his way out. You're in a rabbit hole, and
Right.
there is no guidance in there. Your head. You're like, okay, I'm no good. Oh my God, I can't pay this. I can't do this. I'm a loser. I did that. I believe me. I beat myself up so bad. It was like
Mm,
it hurts, right? You're like,
right.
damn, why do I feel that way? And you don't know why, but you're like, no, I'm not doing that no more. So I don't entertain that at all. If it comes in, and believe me, it creeps up. It creeps up. No, you knock it right down. You go out there. You'll say, just say Jesus, go away. You say Jesus. Come on, man, help me out here. Right? So they're like, okay, and then and I'm not a religious person. It's just that um Jesus is the only one that I feel is truthful.
Amen.
If you know what I mean. I'm like,
Sure.
I don't read the Bible. I'm not like I don't do none of that. But when you say Jesus and things that he say, then that's something that in me and truthful. Like, the truth doesn't lie, and it never dies. So,
Mm,
when people kind of like down, like, and I'm not a religious person, but people, oh well, I don't celebrate Christmas. And I'm like, yes, you do. No, I don't. Oh yeah, you do. No, no, I don't. Why not? Well, I'm whatever. I'm Muslim, I'm Jewish, or whatever. I don't celebrate it. I said, let me tell you something, brother. You believe this is 2024? He's
mhm.
like, yeah. Then you celebrate Christmas because Jesus set that baby up, not you, not anybody
Mm,
you know, anybody I know. I'm talking about he set it back to a clock of zero to let you start over again. I just
there
hate
you
to
go.
see what he's gonna say when he comes back. Like, oh my God,
Well, I like
2024.
the
You look at you
positive.
guys.
I like the positive energy because it's contagious. Something like that, you might turn somebody's day around. Like I said,
Yeah,
we got a little
and, and,
time.
and, and again, it's not a religious thing. It's just a
Right, right,
truthful thing.
sure.
It's not pious. I think Jesus was just truthful, and that's what got him in trouble.
Right.
I'm not saying that people do that. I'm just saying that's what gets you. Telling the truth all the time is really, really scary.
Yeah, it could
It's
get you canceled
scary.
nowadays. Canceled for saying the truth. Yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah,
crazy.
no, you get, like, you're gonna tell me the truth. That's why I like comedy because I'm safe. I'm on
Right.
stage. I'm safe. I can say whatever I want.
Yeah,
Whether
you said some stuff the last comedy show that was really funny. That's a lot of truth to it. So
yeah,
put it
you hit the truth, and once you hit the truth, that's all you want. It's just commenting. Like again, it's observation, conversation, and then a true opinion.
and
And
hopefully you don't have perspiration because if
yeah,
you bomb,
yeah, because
you're
like
sweating.
it's you move it, and then you try to relate it to people that you're talking to because you don't want to be mean, but you
Sure,
want to say the truth, and people think, oh,
sure.
saying the truth is mean. Well, I don't know. It's like autistic children are special.
All right, look,
They're God sent.
Dave Steve has a message for you on there.
Who Dave? My boy Dave. What's
Yeah,
up, Dave?
he said, so you started working in a grocery store to build an audience? I think that's genius.
Oh, really? Thanks. Yeah, I did. As a matter of fact, I did. As a matter of fact, I'm still building it. I build it every day. I go out. I try to. I think communication is key. I think approaching people is key. And I don't know if I'm a nuisance. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm a nuisance. When I tell people, "Hey, how
Uh,
you doing?" What's going
Maybe
on?
maybe to some, but to most you're not.
Well, I like being a comedian, but I don't want to be a comedian because I want to be a movie star or I want to be famous. I want to be a comedian because I want to say what I want when I want,
I hear you.
and and not be chopped up for it. Because it's not like it's not something that I evolved a completely different person from the beginning of comedy. Like comedy, I was looking for funny things.
Gotcha.
Now I just say things funny. Like it's a difference.
There is a
Like
big difference because
so
now
I just say
you're
things
more
funny.
relatable. You're more
Yes.
relatable now.
So now like being being married, having kids, having them watch grow up. Seeing the woes, seeing the pressures on everybody. People dying. Like my friend. I mean, who would think? I mean, I'm talking to this guy for 15 years straight every day. All of a sudden, he gets sick and then he dies.
Mm,
And, you're like, damn. I mean, where do you put that at? Like,
right.
and we used to joke a lot about dying. Hey, whoever you die first or I die first, don't be crying now. I don't need you to be crying. I need you to be happy and keep yourself. And Alan was really good at that. He was good at volleying with. He
Mm,
was he was brilliant. The guy, he was an attorney. I'm like, why you hang out with me? He goes, because like I just like you. Like you have a different energy than most people, and that's what I
mhm.
want. I'm like, and this is, we're on the phone. It's not like we saw each other every day. We were
Sure.
always, on the phone. We're talking different things. Ideas were always running. We talk about politics. And what do you think? And he wasn't like a one-sided guy. He was kind of like put it out there, and you kind of like brings you down a little bit, in sense of
Mhm.
of what you're gonna say. I learned, especially through him, politicians are just people.
Right.
So I'm not there to hate anybody because I don't know why they saying it. They saying it to get, the same way I say, to get fans at the supermarket, like, but they'll say it to do something else, like, oh, he's a liar. Well, everybody lies every once in a while.
Well, they're doing it to get the votes, but
They're doing to get the votes. They're doing, but that's their job. I mean,
yeah,
like when
that's
you
what
look
they
at
yeah.
it. So who am I to say, this guy stinks or this guy? I don't have that. I don't have that thing. I mean, who am I? I'm not there to tell you. That's his job, and if he does it well, people will like him, and if he doesn't, people won't like him. But if they don't like Trump. But look how famous he got. you
Right.
know, people can't stand him. Like I can't stand that guy. I'm like, yeah, but you're still talking about him. And like like you sit there and you're like, oh, you hate Trump that much, yeah, and you want him to fall, don't you? Yeah, yeah. Stop talking about him. If
There you
you
go.
stop talking about him, he'll die away. But you're
Right.
not. You can't help it. It's in your thing. So the more you talk about him, the more famous he gets.
There you go. Well,
Because all you're
let's
doing is
talk about
adding.
one thing. Let's talk about one other thing and let's wrap it up.
Okay,
April 24th. That's this month. I thought it was next month. It's this month.
that's this
April
month.
24th and Ansonia.
It's going to
What
be in Ansonia, and it's going to be on Main Street. As a matter of fact, I don't even have it with me over here. It's like somewhere.
you're not prepared, man.
Nah, then like I did this off the cuff,
At
right?
what time? Okay, so April
It's
24th, what
called
time?
this is what it's called. If you go online and you go into the Munch Eatery and Sonia.com.
Okay, the Much Eatery and Sonia.com.
Munch
Munch,
Eatery,
Munch.
Munch Eatery and Sonia.com.
Okay.
And if you go on there, you're gonna see the flyer with my face on it, my mug. Did you find it yet?
No, I'm not actually searching right now, but I should.
Yeah, you can search it. Let me see.
But let's wrap this up. Let's just put it on the muncheatery.com, right? So it's MUNCH.
Yeah, but I'm going to show it to you now.
There it is.
You got it?
Muncheatery.com.
Eatery and Sonia.
Oh, and Sonia?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it has to be in Sonia. Okay. My bad.
You want to see it?
Absolutely. There you go. Okay, let's get that in there. All right, so that's the Munch Eatery and Sonia.com.
Yeah.
Okay. And where's your?
Let me see where the event is at.
I could have shared your screen, but that's all right.
Okay.
All right. So
There it
let's.
is, Papa.
When is it? Can you click on that? Does the flyer come up, or is that your picture?
Oh God. Let me see. Let me see. Um, no, that's just a picture. I don't know why it didn't come up.
All right, no big deal. Let's move forward. All right, let's wrap this up. So Julio, thank you so much, man. For we did this like off the cuff. This was something that we didn't even plan. We were just kind of talking about it. Thank you so much for coming on, and that was. Oh, hold on, let me see. Is that it? No, that's not it. All
That
right,
was cool. You got to show me how to do this. I
we'll
would
do.
like to do a podcast and promoting my the show I just did on demand, which is the springtime comedy on demand show at ticketlive.com. For you folks that like to see it, if you get a link, that will help me towards my my adventure for Carnegie Hall, because
Right.
this is my production, so like I'm nobody's gonna pay for that but me. So the more the better, and the more people out there that can help me out, I would love it. And thank you so much. I really appreciate you for being on, and all you folks that are listening, all six of you. Thank you so much. Six will turn to, do you know an average person knows 250 people? Did you know that?
No, did not know that.
Yeah, an average person, um, if you go to a funeral and the registry, how people register,
Yep.
an average of 250 people register
Okay.
on it.
So we
So
want to make sure that we're alive to have those people come to Carnegie Hall. But okay,
exactly,
but
yeah.
Julio, one last thing. What's your website? How can people follow you?
You can follow me if you go to my website, it's called julioproductions.com.
Okay,
It's
good.
not finished, but you could always email me. You can follow me because I do have my connections there for is that Facebook, and I have Instagram
And TikTok.
and TikTok. Yes,
There you
so
go.
I have the three. I'm not crazy about TikTok. They threw me out already because I'm a troublemaker. I'll be using the wrong words like oh yeah. Did he rape him? No, he graped him. He graped,
Oh my
Did he
gosh.
kill him? No, he unlived him. Really? Okay.
Oh
All
my
right.
goodness.
And
All
I
right,
don't
well,
know if I can I don't know if I can go through all that, with
right.
the changing of the words, and it's almost like they're really trying to eliminate freedom of speech.
There you go.
And that's
But
the number one thing God gave you, free will.
well, you know what,
Nobody,
Julio? Let's make sure that freedom of speech is exercised the day that you do on the 24th and
yes.
at Carnegie Hall. So we want to say goodbye to everybody right now. We're
Thank
gonna
you, man.
sign off.
Peace
Thank you
out
so
para
much
ti,
again,
mother
Julio.
flower.
God bless. See you guys later.
Thanks
Peace.
a lot. All right, peace out.
Julio, don't